My name is Pancho Mendiola, and welcome to a new episode of Convert on Shopify. Today, we're going to talk about the process of A-B testing. So here in Convert, we've been doing A-B testing for roughly 10 years now. And in this episode, we try to concentrate all of that information and knowledge that we have gathered in all of these years in 6 steps. Okay, so we built a framework that can get you moving from not doing anything about A-B testing or even with your data to start to understand how to do or how to start doing A-B testing. And this is the whole purpose of this episode. So maybe after this episode, you won't be an expert yet, but you will have a better understanding on how this process looks like, how this framework looks like, and maybe realizing where in your organization you stand right now. Okay, maybe I still can do it, or maybe I have to focus in this part of the process first. So this is the whole idea of this episode, so you can understand the process. So it's a 6-step process. The first one is collecting data. The second one is being able to identify your goals. The third one is generating hypotheses. The fourth one is creating variations so you can actually test. Then run an experiment, and at the end you can analyze these results. So we're gonna get don't worry, we're gonna get a little deeper into each one of them. And again, in this episode, we're not gonna cover everything in these 6 steps. Okay, we're just gonna give you the general understanding on each of these steps. And in further episodes, we're going to drill down. Actually, the next one, we're going to focus a lot on how to create an actual hypothesis, where this is normally where we as merchants get stuck. We are more driven for, these ways to just increase our revenue through the stuff that we already know. So increase the budget, just do more and more and more. Sometimes you have to do better. You don't have to do more. But we're going to talk about that in the next episode. So let's start with the first one, collecting data. This is something that we as entrepreneurs and as merchants, we often don't have this, we just don't have this habit in our DNA. We are so embedded and so involved in our day-to-day operations. We're always focusing on growth. And again, we want to do more and more and more traffic, more sales, more campaigns, more everything. And we don't focus on analyzing and collecting the data. So this is one of the first things that I will encourage you to do. If you want to get into the A-B testing world, if you want to get into the conversion rate optimization world, so if you want to get a better bang from your buck, okay, get better results from your current budgets, or even decrease your budget so you can have a better profitability in your projects, well, guess what? You will need to get into data. You will need to gradually become into a data nerd, okay? And this is the first step in the A-B testing process. So collect your data. Good news, you have data. Maybe you are not using still an A-B testing tool. You have data, okay? If you're already using a platform like Shopify, maybe you're doing email marketing with a tool, like Klaviyo. There's a lot of information there that you can start looking, okay? This is the first step in this whole process. Just start looking. Book a whole day, okay? Like block your calendar for a full day and just sit in front of your computer looking at data. This is something that I do not as regularly as I would like, but I do it quite often in my own stores. There's full days that I don't do anything, okay? Being said that I don't have meetings, that I'm not planning stuff or developing stuff, I'm just looking at information. So as with every system, every system in the world, including a business, relies on the input-output principle. So if you want to get ideas, ideas are output. If you want to create hypotheses, hypotheses are output. If you want to do a goal is an output. What do you think you need first? You need input. Okay, you need data. You need to start to look at your store's behavior, your customers' behavior, so you can start detecting some patterns. Let me give you an example. From a very like startup phase, these stores that are selling maybe roughly less than $5,000 per month using Shopify. I do consulting, a little bit of consulting. So the majority of the stores that are stuck in that level, normally they have a problem. They have a very similar problem. And their problem is that they don't have enough people adding to products to their cart. So the people, the merchants that own these stores, they want to sell more, obviously. And what do? They focus on getting more traffic. So they increase their budget in ad spend, in Facebook or Meta and in Google, and they do a lot of stuff to get more traffic when the data is telling them that's not where the problem is. Okay, you have enough traffic. You just have a very bad conversion. But you have a very bad conversion because there's not enough people adding products to their cart. That's where the conversion funnel actually starts. So with a very like a glance, just a glance, obviously these are smaller stores, but with a very small glance, I can already identify where the problem is and then help them, make better decisions. So literally can take me 1 minute to find, because I know where to look at now for these ranges of stores. Now, in larger stores, larger businesses, there's a lot more variables. Probably they already got through that hump of getting people to add to cart, but then there's other places in their store they can actually improve their conversion, get more clicks, get more email signups, get more add to carts, get more people to actually buy or purchase after they add to cart. So there's a lot more places to look at when there's a store that is already a bit larger with more traffic and more information. Either way, if you're just starting or if you already grew and you want to become better at it, the first thing you need to do is to start collecting data. So if you already grew, probably you already have more insights, you understand your business better, so maybe you have better ideas on where to look at. So just do it. You have to stop. You have to, like I said, just block a full day, no distractions. Choose a playlist in Spotify that you enjoy. I have some. If you want to know which ones are the ones that I use, ask me in the comments. Just feel free to reach out. But just, a pair of headphones, noise canceling, a good playlist, and just analyze data. Just look at data. Click on stuff, do reporting, cross information, just look at data. And believe me, when you get into that mood, your brain starts working in a different way and you begin to see some patterns. Okay. Maybe right now you say, no, I've looked, but I haven't found anything. No, maybe you haven't looked hard enough. But this is the first exercise that you need to do. Just start collecting data. Okay. Once you start collecting data, the next step is identify your goals. So after a while, like I said, you're going to start to see some patterns. Okay. For example, from the people that purchased, most of them, we already had their emails. So we got them after we gathered their email. So we still have a very large amount or large percentage of people that are not giving us their emails. And those are the ones like before the purchase or before they get to a checkout. So those people are not buying or they're buying less. So now you have a goal. The goal is, if you already know or you have that insight that people that you get their emails from since the beginning, before they reach to checkout. Maybe that happens because they not only see your advertisement in Facebook and in Google, but maybe you send them a couple of emails with a little bit of, about us, a little bit of about your story through their inbox. Maybe they saw a couple of them. You send them a couple of articles and they enjoyed them, and they now have a better understanding of your brand. You don't know the exact reason why that is happening. What you only have is that you identified by collecting data, by analyzing your data, that this cohort of people that gave your email from the beginning are better clients. Again, this is just an example. Please don't take this example as something that you have to focus on. But I will tell you that it is way better to have their emails from the beginning. It has worked for me anyways. Well, so now you have a goal. Okay, the goal is to get as many emails as possible from the beginning for each unique visitor. Okay, now that's a goal. Now that you have set a goal, the next step is to generate a hypothesis. So a hypothesis is just a guess. But it's an informed guess. It's not just something that you got out of your sleeve. It's an informed guess that you got from analyzing data and identifying a goal. Okay, so for example, with this email thing, you say, yeah, I believe that people are actually purchasing more when they give me their emails, because there's a better way for me to show them what we do as a brand through email. It's more personalized. I can tell, stories through a daily newsletter or a daily flow of emails from sign up until their first purchase. And this allows me to tell them a little bit more about what we do. This allows me to show them everything I sell and why do I do it, and a little bit of stories and backstories and all that stuff that we know people like. So that's my hypothesis. People will purchase more if I can get their emails and if I can give them a little bit more information about our brand within these first days from sign up. Okay, so that's my hypothesis. So the goal is still get more emails from the beginning, because I think that this will happen. Okay, but the goal is still there. So once I have the goal, once I have the hypothesis, now I can start creating variations. So if the goal is to get emails, maybe I already have a sign-up form. Maybe I have a passive or static sign-up form in my website, and I want to create another version of it. So maybe I want to change the text. Maybe the one that I have already only says sign up to our newsletter, and that's it. It's nothing personal. It doesn't talk about what the user is gonna get from it, and it just says sign up to our newsletter. It's not fun. But maybe if I do something a little bit different in my homepage, let's say that I bring it a little bit to the top of the site, and then I change the text to something, like join our dynamic community of climbers, let's say. Maybe you sell climbing clothing or whatever. So join our dynamic community of climbers and get insights and news about events and whatever. So you make a little bit more exciting to sign up for the newsletter, and you just run with it. So now you have your control, the one that you had previously, and you have your new version. And you go to A/B test it. Let's see what works best. So let's say that you start running this experiment. This means that your software, the ones that you're using, you're gonna start sending users to both the control version and to the new version and see what happens, see their interactions. You already have a starting point, so you already knew how many emails you got from the previous version. In this case, you can tell, which one is best based on that specific conversion event. Okay, not all conversions have to do with a purchase. I know they're the best ones. I mean, that's why we're here. But not all conversions are about the purchase. In this case, this one, this event, which is the sign up, can eventually help you improve your purchase conversion according to our hypothesis, because we found some data that told us that, hey, look, most of our customers gave us their email since the beginning. So you just run the experiment and see which of these two versions works best. At the end, you analyze the result. So we already covered the 6 steps and I'm going to do a small recap at the end, if some of the information slipped by. So then you analyze the results. You have a result, okay? And the result, I want to be very clear about this. The result is just a result. It doesn't mean that if you have a negative result that you suck or your hypothesis suck, okay? The result is a very important part of the experiment, because A/B testing can go both ways. Okay, A/B testing can help you improve something, okay? Just improve something, but a lot of times, okay, a lot of times we have an idea as entrepreneurs. We say, oh, I think that if we add this very cool image at the beginning of our site, because I just went climbing and I took this like really sick image and I think that's gonna grab everyone's attention. And we get excited and we post it. And what happens? We have an increase, we have a decrease in conversion. If we would have done an A/B test, we would have found out that doesn't work best and we wouldn't have posted it. So we wouldn't have a decrease in our conversion rate at the end. So A/B testing, like negative results, are actually good too. It's just a result. It's something saying, no, leave it. It's working. You thought that there was a better version, but no, clearly not. At least not where you thought. So a negative result is also a positive result ultimately. And the cool thing about A/B testing in general is that when you start running this process over and over and over again, first of all, we talked about this in some of the first episodes, about the culture, about how a culture, an organization, a store, whatever, a company, whatever you call it, needs to have this experimentation culture and A/B testing culture and optimization culture is very, very important. So how do you get there? Well, you do it a lot of times. You think of this as a cycle, okay? And maybe at the beginning, when you're just getting a hang of it, maybe you'll start just running 1 experiment per month or 2 per month. Take it easy, okay? Once you get better at it, you'll start to develop this, first of all, an inertia in your flow or your processes, but also you will become better at it, okay? You will develop intuition that, for me, in my experience, intuition is just having, every time you have more informed, you have more data, and now you can intuitively say, I think this is gonna work, but it works better because your intuition says, and your intuition is nothing more than a lot of experience, okay? You do something several times or a lot of times for a bunch of time or a bunch of years, and now your decisions are way more informed than at the beginning. So you develop your business intuition by repeating this cycle over and over and over again. So again, you get to the result and you say, okay, positive or negative. Leave it like that, okay? Leave it like that, or yeah, go for the new version. Next. So, okay, the cycle closes, you have your result, you post or you update your changes in your site, whatever you were testing, and you start again. You now, let's go again through the cycle. You collect data, so now you have the data that you previously had, and now you have more data because you have a result, a new result from derived from an experiment. So now you have more data. So with that new data and the one that you already had and the data is constantly evolving and updating. So now you have more data, you go at it again. Okay, we solved that problem. I mean, it wasn't really a problem, but let's say that we improved that area of the site, or we improved that area of the customer behavior, and we're getting better results. Okay, next, what do you next? So you again collect data. From that data, new data, you identify goals. You're gonna get better. The more data that you look, you're gonna get better identifying goals again. Then you create or generate a new hypothesis, which, by the way, in the next episode, we're gonna cover how to create a great hypothesis. What are the elements that you need to include in your hypothesis? Then you create variations, okay? So based on this, I'm gonna test this part of my site specifically. So you create the variations, you run the experiment, and you analyze the results. And you have a positive or negative results, okay? And you do it again, and you do it again. So this is the framework of A/B testing. Again, we're gonna get deeper into each part of this process in later episodes. But the cool thing is that also, when we start bringing guests in next episodes, we're gonna talk about this process. You're gonna talk about it, or the guests are gonna talk about it through stories, okay? But now, if that story, you can cross-reference it with these mechanics of A/B testing, you will get more information from that story that if you just heard a very cool story about how they did it without understanding these mechanics. So this is the whole purpose of this episode. Like I said, maybe you're not an expert still, me neither, but we are getting there. We're getting there. We're covering the basics, and we're going to get deeper with our conversation, but also with the new guests that we're bringing in. Again, if you want to fast forward your knowledge about conversion rate optimization and A/B testing, head to Convert.com. We have a lot of resources there, articles, videos, webinars, a bunch of information and really cool resources, so you can fast forward it. And again, thank you very much. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.